But given the fact that in the last, definitely 40 years, as Dr. Pete said in the quote, really, going back 80 years, we've slowly been inundated with omega-6s in everything, in all processed food, in all fast food, in all restaurant food, in, pretty much unless you're making it yourself from single ingredient things, you're going to be full of omega-6s. And so it's possible that in that case, having a good ratio of omega-3s in relation to it would be better. If we look at the so-called traditional diet, up until very recently, even the 1980s is really when it majorly switched. But as you said, the 40s is where it started. If we looked at people's diets before that, who had way less incidence of chronic disease than us, the vast majority of their fat calories were coming from saturated fats. They had a lot of saturated fat, they had a lot of cholesterol, they had a little bit of omega-3, again, depending on the location. People near the sea might have more from oily fish and stuff like that. But seed oils and seed consumption was barely a thing up until less than 100 years ago. So we're often eating the whole animal. And so we would get some thyroid hormone from eating the whole animal. Now, if that's true for thyroid, it's probably also true for progesterone. It's probably true for testicles. There's a whole thing about like eating testicles. That in the carnivore community recently and taking testicle glandular supplement. It's probably true for some of the adrenal chemicals like cortisol, like aldosterone. And so it's probably even true for insulin, although I don't know, the pancreas, people would consume the pancreas. So maybe to some degree, it's definitely true for some of the thymus hormones. People, the thymus gland was certainly very prized. And so this idea that hormone supplementation is a new thing in the last few decades or 100 years that our ancestors never used to do is probably nonsense. It's probably actually something that we did a lot, but with various degrees of awareness, right? Maybe in some cultures there was this person's sick, let's give them thymus gland. Oh, this person, seems to be wasting away, let's give them thyroid. Maybe there was that kind of level of understanding, but maybe it was just a lot of tradition and just do it without an understanding of exactly why they were doing it.
This is Elwyn Robinson, and that was a clip from the Rejuvenate podcast. Remember to share this clip, like and subscribe, and you can watch full new episodes by subscribing to my YouTube channel or Rumble channel, or by subscribing to the Rejuvenate podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.